Oh, now for our next lesson. Hopefully you watched the last lesson on how to ride a motorcycle. One of the simplest, but actually one of the most important, is how to brake. On a motorcycle, it's not like a car. On a car, you push one pedal and all four of your brakes turn on, right? This bike is manual to the core. You got two wheels and you got, well, two wheels and three brakes. You got two brakes. You got two wheels to brake, basically. Well, I got confused is because some bikes have two calipers in front and one on the back. But anyway, long story short, you got two brakes. This lever right here controls the front brake. That is where the majority of your stopping power is, and I'll explain that later. And then you got your back brake with your right pedal, right foot. Okay, that's your rear brake. Now, what's important to know is when you stop, right? You ever see like a car when it stops, the front end dips down? That's because all the weight is going forward. You know, all your weight and force is shifting forward, right? Like that. Yeah. So, what I mean by your front brake has all the stopping power is when you come to a stop really quickly, all your weight is shifting forward and a less weight is on the rear tire, which means the stopping power or the stopping potential of the rear tire is very limited. But that means the stopping power of the front brake is increased because all that weight is on the front brake, which means it's all on the front brake. That's why the front brake is the most important, but also the most dangerous, is because if you hit that front brake too hard, you'll flip your bike over. I know you've seen videos about that. So I'm going to teach you how to brake. Basically, I use two fingers. I've explained this in my video before, but I use two fingers to brake. The reason being, in case of an emergency or if I get nervous or whatever, if I use four fingers, I'm more likely to put most of my strength and my power on that front brake, which would increase my chances of flipping over. Because you want to brake slowly and gradually. You don't want to just squeeze it. It's not like a car. A car, you can stump on it, whatever. Unless you got ABS on your bike, which most bikes don't. Newer bikes do have anti-lock brake system, but most bikes don't. Mine doesn't. So you have to brake slowly and gradually. You know what I mean? And that's difficult to do when you grab your whole hand on it. You know, because you go like that. I do it with two fingers. That way, you can't put all your grip on two fingers. It's impossible. It takes your whole hand to put your whole strength on it. So when you limit yourself to two fingers, you limit the amount of strength on that brake. And honestly, you don't need four fingers to do it. You don't need it. Now, it might be more comfortable for you, and you might be good at not reacting that way. And if four fingers works for you, that's fine. But until you get good, I would suggest using two fingers just as a safety measure. Sometimes your rear brake will lock up if you have an emergency stop, right? The key is to stay calm because you still got that front brake that you're squeezing slowly. I've had my rear tire lock up many times, but I stayed calm. And you know, I heard it, but I stayed calm and I stay focused and slowly squeeze that front brake. All right, if you react and just squeeze it, you have a bad accident. Okay, now also what's important is that until you get really good, until your reflexes and your muscle memory set in, I would suggest not trying to brake at the same time. What I mean is, they tell you in class to brake, hit both of your brakes at the same time. I found for me that my first gut reaction was to squeeze the front brake too hard. So what I did was just split second before I would hit the back brake first, and then I would like start slowing down with the back brake and then start the front brake. That way my nerves would be more calm to react instead of just grabbing the front real quick. You know, so I would hit the back brake, then slowly hit the front, and then the better you get, you'll start doing them at the same time. But until then, I would suggest you start with the back brake first. just not all the way first, just like a little bit before, and then start with the front brake. And then go to a parking lot or a place like this, desolate, and just, man, it's some nice houses, and just start braking. So I'll show you an example of how I brake. Okay. You know, they say squeeze in the clutch. Like that. Squeeze in the clutch. Before you know it, it'll become second nature, so where you won't have to think about it as much. In the beginning stages of motorcycle riding that I've experienced, I didn't enjoy it as much because I was so nervous about just not falling, not dying, not crashing, whatever. I didn't get to enjoy it as much. I was so tense and just tense. My whole body would be sore after I got off because I was just clenching every muscle in my body. But now it's just pure joy. You still got to be aware and alert, but I got it down so where I'm chilling, and you will too.